Hello and welcome to another Magic the Gathering unboxing. So today we're going to take a look at the Throne of Eldraine bundle with 10 boosters no less. Now we'll just flip it over, see what we can see on the back here. So we've got an alternate art premium foil Piper of the Swarm card in here, 20 premium 4 and 20 regular basic lands. That seems to be becoming a thing in these bundles. 10-15 card Throne of Eldraine booster packs, card box, which is essentially what this goes down into once you've opened it, and a special oversized spin down life counter, which I think we saw in the previous bundle from the previous set. So let's open this up, take a look inside, crack some packs, and everybody will be happy. So I think, as I mentioned on the previous unboxing for, would have been the core set, I believe, they've removed that player's encyclopedia, which I rather enjoyed, but anyway. Just a security thing. Still dishing out these. Let's use as spacers, so at least you've got something useful to do with the cardboard. Quite a pile of these building up. Okay. I've tried to do this on previous videos, so I'm going to attempt to open this. Oh yeah, there's also this inside, which is just a little link to getting the online story resources. I think, as you know, for most of my information surrounding sets, my sort of go-to place is MTG Wiki, and the articles on there. So, as with all bundles, fat packs, whatever you want to call them over the years, if you pull apart, there's like a plasticky glue stuff down the side that they use to stick, so we used to use to stick CDs to music magazines. That's pretty easy to get off. You can sort of get it off without tearing. See what they've done there. That's pretty cool. Okay, so there's our Throne of Eldraine spin down. That's pretty nice, actually. I don't know how good this is coming across on camera. That's actually very nice indeed. It's definitely a good thing to make these larger, I think. So there's the set logo. Find out whether I've got it up the right way soon. So start cracking packs. Oh, it's that way up. There we go. Okay. Lovely foily booster packs. We got here. Okay, so where are we? There are a couple of just, what do you call these really? Instruction cards that sort of crop up. So So we've got, I think, one about popular Magic formats, and the other one that just covers something like, in this case, Planeswalker loyalty, and a little bit about attacking and blocking. And there's just an advert on the flip side of that one. So this must be our packs of land. So look at the foils first. Oh no, sorry, this is a regular land. The foils are in the other one. So yeah, so it looks like we're getting all of the 5 pieces of artwork in the non-foil version. And then we've got our Piper of the Swarm in foil. And my understanding is the same across all bundles. They don't have a sort of set of different foils. It's just the same card. Piper of the Swarm. So 1 and a black creature, human warlock. It's 1/3. Rats you control have menace. 1 and a black tap. Create a 1/1 black rat creature token. 2 and 2 black tap. Sacrifice 3 rats. Gain control of target creature. And now we move on to land in foil here. It's pretty cool. Got this really sort of standout effect in the bottom area where the mana symbol is, which is like this sort of marbling. I don't know how good that's coming out on camera. You'll probably notice that actually it's coming out slightly different on camera, but once you have the foiling on these, you get this thing where obviously some things stand out, but overall often the artwork looks a lot more muted because of it. It just obviously again depends a lot on the artwork that's on there. But it's good to see they've got 1 in each of the artwork. There was that, I think, particular disappointing product. I can't remember whether it was a bundle or a toolkit where they just basically, they did do land in foil, but it was just the same. It's 1 piece of artwork from each of the colours. Okay, so let's get on to these nice shiny boosters. These are stuck down good. Okay. So first up we've got our commons. We've got Unexplained Vision. This has adamant on it. Because we don't have the Player's Encyclopedia, what I'll do is I'll just, first card I see with a particular keyword or ability on it, I'll just use that as the example. So on this one, before we get to adamant, this card draws 3 cards, so 4 and a blue to cast. With adamant, if at least 3 blue mana was spent to cast this spell, scry 3. So it looks like we've got an ability here which is dependent on what you've invested into your casting cost in terms of mana. Oh, and straight up we have the other feature of the set. So you'll notice down in the area where the rules text is, we've now got this split area. So this particular card is common, it's Smitten Swordmaster, it's 1 and a black, it's a 2/1. So you can cast it like that. Smitten Swordmaster has lifelink. However, what you can do is effectively send your creature on an adventure. So you can pay a single black, you can cast this card, and it's a sorcery called Curry Favour. Sorcery adventure, you gain X life, and each opponent loses X life where X is the number of knights you control. So what happens is, when you, in the case of these adventures, and you'll often see on a lot of them where there's a bit more space, it actually has a rules text area. So you cast it, and once the spell resolves, the card is exiled, and then the creature may be cast from exile. So casting the adventure half the card represents sending the creature on an adventure before putting it into the battlefield. When the adventure resolves, the card is exiled. When exiled as part of the resolution, the creature may be cast from exile, basically. So. Redcap Raiders, Flutterfox, cares about artifacts or enchantments, Memory Theft, Insatiable Appetite. So there's also food in the set, so it says you may sacrifice a food. If you do, target creature gets +5/+5 until end of turn, otherwise that creature gets +3/+3 until end of turn. So what we'll do is we'll keep an eye open for what's generating food tokens. There's another adventure here. So Queen of Ice, just to illustrate some of the differences here. 2 and a blue to cast. So whenever Queen of Ice deals combat damage to a creature, tap that creature. It does untap. It doesn't untap during its controller's next untap step. So 2/3. The adventure part is Rage of Winter, 1 and a blue sorcery adventure. Tap target creature, it doesn't untap during its controller's next untap step. Then exile this card. You may cast the creature later from exile. Outflank. Fling is in the set. Giant Skewer. So coloured equipment. Oh, here we go. So this is generating food tokens. So Giant Skewers, 1 and a black, artifact equipment. Equipped creature gets +2/+1. Whenever equipped creature deals combat damage to a creature, create a food token. It's an artifact with 2 tap. Sacrifice this artifact, you gain 3 life. Equip for 3. So for 3 attached to target creature you control, equip only as a sorcery. Elite Headhunter, you'll notice that hybrid mana is utilised in this set. Got Clockwork Servant, has adamant on this. So with this particular adamant on this card, when Clockwork Servant enters the battlefield, if at least 3 mana of the same colour was spent to cast it, draw a card. So very similar to the earlier one, it's just the colour's different. We've got legendary creatures at uncommon. I believe there's a cycle of Sirs. So this one is Sir Conrad the Grim, 3 and 2 black, 5/4 legendary creature, human knight. Whenever another creature dies or a creature card is put into a graveyard from anywhere other than the battlefield, or a creature card leaves your graveyard, Sir Conrad the Grim deals 1 damage to each opponent. 1 in the black, each player puts the top card of their library into their graveyard. And our rare is Feasting Troll King. So Feasting Troll King, 2 and 4 green, so pretty high amount of green there. So creature troll noble, 7/6 with vigilance and trample. When Feasting Troll King enters the battlefield, if you cast it from your hand, create 3 food tokens, sacrifice 3 foods, return Feasting Troll King from your graveyard to the battlefield. Activate this ability only during your turn. We have a swamp and a goat token with a boot in its mouth. Nice. Okay. Bake into a pie. Another way of creating a food token, for 2 and 2 black you can destroy a target creature, create a food token, and then it goes on to describe what's on the food token. So hopefully we should see some food tokens in the end of these packs at some point. 7 dwarves. So if you're not familiar with the theme of this set, it's probably starting to make itself apparent what Wizards have done here. So we've got sort of Arthurian legend themed theme set, and Grim Fairy Tales as well, and also there's a lot of European fairy tale ideas that come into this set as well. Outmuscle has adamant on it. This one cares about you casting green mana. Wicked Guardian. Sporecap Spider is in the set. Merfolk's Secret Keeper. This has another adventure on it. Adventure Deeper. The creature itself is vanilla 0/4 for 1, and the adventure puts top 4 cards of your library into the graveyard. Shining Armor. Cares about knights. Garen Briggs Squire. Cares about casting adventure spells. Golden Egg. Mana fixing there. Return to Nature as a modal spell at instant speed. A Mad Ratter. Spectre's Shriek. So we're moving on to our uncommons. Resolute Rider, another hybrid mana spell. There's actually quite a lot of cycles in here. That's why I'm sort of stopping just to let you look at the certain cards, just so you get a feel for what cards might possibly be cycles. And again, don't forget to look out for what I think I tend to call the draft indicators. They're the sort of cards that give you some idea of maybe a strategy to draft around. And our rare is Escape to the Wilds. So 3 red-green. Sorcery speed, and exile the top 5 cards of your library. You may play cards exiled this way until the end of your next turn you may play an additional land this turn. We've got a mountain. Oh, and there's our food token. So 2 tap, sacrifice this artifact, you gain 3 life. Thrill of Possibility. Ardenvale Tactician, so we've got an instant speed adventure on here. Reaper of the Night. Ventress Paladin. Yeah, there is a cycle of paladins in the set. Run Away Together. Knight of the Keep. Gingerbread Cabin. So it looks like we've got a cycle of common lands here. So it's a land forest. Gingerbread Cabin enters the battlefield tapped unless you control 3 or more other forests. When Gingerbread Cabin enters the battlefield untapped, create a food token. Jousting Dummy. Garin Brig Carver. Another instant speed adventure. Moonlit Scavengers. Glass Casket. Kenris Transformation. Savvy Hunter. So this is one of the uncommon signpost cards for drafting in black green. Midnight Clock is our rare in here, so 2 and a blue. Tap, add blue, 2 and blue, put an hour counter on Midnight Clock. At the beginning of each upkeep, put an hour counter on Midnight Clock. When the 12th hour counter is put on Midnight Clock, shuffle your hand and graveyard into your library, then draw 7 cards. Exile Midnight Clock. And we have an island and another food token with different artwork. I'm lingering a little bit longer on these cards, mainly because this set so sort of deep in themes that it gives, I suppose, both myself and people watching the video a bit of time to just take in some of this stuff if they've not seen the cards before. Ventress Paladin, it's got adamant on it, that cares about blue mana. Reeve Soul, 7 Dwarves, we've seen that already. Steel Gaze Griffin. Curious Pair. On this adventure, it's sorcery speed and you get to create a food token. So Tiny. Shining Armor. Witch's Cottage, so this is the black one at common. So tap, add black. Witch's Cottage enters the battlefield tapped unless you control 3 or more other swamps. When Witch's Cottage enters the battlefield untapped, you may put target creature card from your graveyard on top of your library. Knight of the Keep. Fell of the Pheasant. Another card that's generating food tokens. Red Cap Melee. Giant Opportunity. So we've moved on to our uncommons. Foulmire Knight. And our rare is a land, it's Fabled Passage. So with Fabled Passage, tap, sacrifice it, search your library for a basic land card, put it onto the battlefield, tap, then shuffle your library. Then if you control 4 or more lands, untap that land. And we have an island and another food token with different artwork. Smitten Swordmaster, Rimrock Knight, Unexplained Vision, Lost Legion. It's got a few cards here and there with scry on them. Witching Well, it's an artifact. Ventress Paladin. Jousting Dummy, so getting quite a bit of repetition here. Blow Your House Down. Wolf's Quarry. Interesting cascading tokens on here, so you've got 4 and 2 green sorcery. It creates 3 1/1 green board creature tokens, but those tokens themselves have, when this creature dies, create a food token. And a food token is an artifact with 2, tap, sacrifice this artifact, you gain 3 life. Queen of Ice, creature, human, noble, wizard. Oakham Ranger, so Elf Knight. So this is similar one to a different colour cycle of these cards that I opened in a previous pack, so heavy amount of hybrid mana here on these, and also we've got adventures and an ability on this one. So again with these, they point towards a particular draft strategy as well. Fireborn Knight. So we have another one of these, because these are all at uncommon. So again, it's 4 hybrid mana in red white this time. It's got double strike, but it doesn't have an adventure on it. Not all of them necessarily have adventures. Once and Future with adamant on it. And our rare is Black Lance Paragon. 1 and a black creature, human knight with flash. It's 3/1. When Black Lance Paragon enters the battlefield, target knight gains death touch and lifelink until end of turn. We have a swamp and another food token with different artwork. So they're obviously doing a lot of artwork for their tokens here. And also notice the presence again of a coloured artifact. This is Brimstone Trebuchet, so it's an artifact in red. Got Crashing Drawbridge. Tempting Witch. Oh, there's a trope. Redcap Raiders. Lonesome Unicorn. Gingerbrute. Another gingerbread cabin. Garenbrig Carver. Corridor Monitor. blue artifact. Archon of Absolution. So we moved on to our uncommons. Slaying Fire. Deathless Knight. This is the black-green heavy hybrid. And our rare is Bone Crusher Giant. So what does Bone Crusher Giant say? So it's a 2 and a red with a instant adventure of Stomp on it for 1 and a red, so damage can't be prevented this turn. Stomp deals 2 damage to any target. And then it's the ability on the creature: whenever Bone Crusher Giant becomes the target of a spell, Bone Crusher Giant deals 2 damage to that spell's controller. And this is a 4/3 creature giant. Oh, we've got a foil forest. There you go. A regular plains there and a dwarf token. Another Flutter Fox, Foreboding Fruit, Thrill of Possibility, Charmed Sleep, Bartered Cow, Scalding Cauldron, Giant Skewer, Wildwood Tracker, Runaway Together, Fortifying Provisions, Into the Story, so moving on to uncommons, Oakhame Adversary. We have an Inspiring Veteran. It's red-white, cares about other knights. And, okay. Rare land, Castle Ventress. Castle Ventress enters the battlefield tapped unless you control an island. Add blue, 2 and 2 blue, and you get 2 scry for 2. So you can see there's at least a couple of cycles of land here. And we have an island. Oh, and yet another food token. There's plenty of food in the set anyway. Yeah, so those particular those cycles of rare land, I believe, are referred to as castles of the realm. They're all castles. Festive Funeral, Searing Barrage, Marleaf Rider, Barrow Witches, Tome Raider, another Golden Egg, Garen Briggs Squire, Opt is in the set with Scry 1 on it, Beloved Princess, Fleeing, Venerable Knight. I seem to remember Venerable Knight's a pretty old card from way back. Claim the Firstborn. Oh, that's really cool. So it's just completely different artwork here around the border. This is Flaxen Intruder. It's a single green creature, human berserker. So 1/2. the adventure on here is Welcome Home, which is 5 and 2 green. So for the adventure part, we get to create 3 2/2 green bear creature tokens. And the actual ability on the creature is whenever Flaxen Intruder deals combat damage to a player, you may sacrifice it. When you do, destroy target artifact or enchantment. Oh, and at rare we have a legendary creature. So this is our first legendary creature at rare. We've seen another one at least, and uncommon. It's 3 to cast, and it's Era, I think that is Era First of Lochthwain, 3 black. Legendary creature Elf Noble, 2/3. Whenever Era First of Lochthwain or another black creature enters the battlefield under your control, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. Tap, sacrifice another black creature and draw a card. Got a plains. Oh, and I think this is a placeholder card for the adventures, so it's somewhere you can place that. After an adventure resolves, you can place the exiled card here. You may cast the creature from exile. There we go. We're going on an adventure. Right. Weaselback Redcap, Garenbrig Paladin with adamant on it, Wicked Guardian, Bargain, Mystic Sanctuary, so part of that common cycle of lands in blue. Notice also it does give a land type violent, and that's pretty important if you're using fetch lands which have referred to a particular type of land. Return to Nature, Moonlit Scavengers, Silver Flame Ritual. There's another one, Idyllic Grange, Weapon Rack. There's another one of these uncommons where it's in quite dramatic artwork, where the artwork is actually pushing right in to the sort of inner border before it gets to the black outer border. So Hypnotic Sprite, 2 blue, creature fairy with flying, 2/1. The adventure on here is at instant speed. It's Mesmeric Glare. It's 2 and a blue. Counter target spell with converted mana cost 3 or less. Rampart Smasher. We've seen these before. This is the red-green one. Keeper of Fables. Ventress Gargoyle. So Ventress Gargoyle is a 2 and a blue artifact creature gargoyle with flying. Ventress Gargoyle can't attack unless defending player has 7 or more cards in their graveyard. Ventress Gargoyle can't block unless you have 4 or more cards in hand. Tap, each player puts the top card of their library into their graveyard. There's an island and a night token. So we're moving on to our last pack. So we've already had our mythic, I believe. Yep. Oh no, actually, have we? I'm not sure about that, you know. I've not been keeping good tabs on that. Maybe we haven't. I know we've had 1 foil, at least, which was land. Trapped in the Tower. Malevolent Noble, Scorching Dragonfire, Curious Pair. This particular adventure creates a food token. Don't Say Please, Silver Flame Squire, Eye Collector, Prophet of the Peak, Tall as a Beanstalk, Shepherd of the Flock, so we're moving on to our uncommons. Mystical Dispute, Drowned in the Lock, and our rare is Acclaimed Contender, so 2 and a white creature human knight. When Acclaimed Contender enters the battlefield, if you control another knight, look at the top 5 cards of your library. You may reveal a knight, aura, equipment or legendary artifact card from among them and put it into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order, and it's a 3/3. Oh, interesting. So this is another legendary at uncommon, and this is Gulley the Generous. So Gulley the Generous is 1 green, red-green, 3/3 legendary creature, Goblin Shaman. Each other non-human creature you control enters the battlefield with an additional +1/+1 counter on it. And this is also in foil as well. That looks pretty cool. So it's our second foil. And we have a swamp, and then just an advert for Arena. Okay, so there we have it. I hope you got a really good feel there for the theme of the set. It's actually really interesting to just look, go through the cards nice and slow, so you can really absorb what's going on in the set, because there's a ton of stuff going on. You've obviously got the link to the themes of Arthurian legend and Brothers Grimm, but also just over on the side here, as I sort of look at the article on MTG Wiki, it would appear that there is an absolute, a lot of cycles in the set. So we have the common lands of the wilds, cycle of paladins, cycle of coloured equipment, cycle of sirs, common adamant spells, cycle of those, uncommon adamant spells, colour hoses, cycle of those, cycle of 5 of those, castles of the realm, we saw those, legendary leaders, cycle of those, rare adventurers, mythic artifacts, and then there's the signpost cards. So there's some gold, some 2-colour signpost cards in various sort of all of the 2-colour combinations, including Gulley the Generous, and then there's those hybrid uncommon 10 of those gold spells as well. And then there was a cycle of gold rares as well, 10 powerful rare or mythic gold spells. So there you go. I hope you've enjoyed that. It's a bit of a different set. Probably anybody that's played Magic for a number of years, it will be sort of reminiscent of Lorwyn in the way, it's in sort of the delivery. The artwork's obviously quite different than that. Anyway, thanks for watching. Bye for now.